A very good evening and a warm welcome to a fast edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the headlines. In our headlines tonight, government constructs grain silos in Katakwi district. The Karamojong trained in food quality production. Prime Minister Nabanja declines to commission Kitai Huka Health Center 3 over shoddy work. And vandals destroy electricity transmission towers in Mukono. Blackout imminent. Good evening once again and welcome to UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live in Nile Avenue. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto. Now we start off this newscast with farmers in Katakwi district have a cause to smile after the construction and commissioning of a 317 million bulking center for agricultural products in Ongongoja sub-county by Vice President Jessica Lupo yesterday. Now the Ongongoja multi-purpose storage facility is a solid investment by government aimed at creating a one-stop grain and cereal center in the district. The facility has been constructed with proceeds from local economic growth support projects with support from the Islamic Development Bank, to which Uganda has been a member since 1975. Speaking during the commissioning of the facility in Upton Village, Vice President Jessica Lupo, who doubles as a district woman member of Parliament, said the facility has come in handy for Teso sub-region. We have the details.
Thank you so much. So people of Katakwi and Ongongoja in particular, you are visionary, you are hardworking, you're almost everywhere, and you represent His Excellency 100% very well. And I'm sure that we'll continue to benefit from her connections, from her networks. Your Excellency, this morning I had breakfast with the Ambassador of Japan, and I was surprised. He was talking the word Ongongoja very well. It seems he was here yesterday. Now you can see, you people, sometimes the voters get distracted. I don't know why. The home of the Vice President, I don't want to leave a household which is not getting $1 million per month. Also take the pleasure to invite you to talk to your people. I thank you so much.
The desire of government to transform lives of people, and also the deliberate intention of government to reach every Ugandan, and with the slogan of leaving no one behind. Yes. If we want to go commercial, and if we want all the people who have been outside the money economy to be sustainably included in the money economy, it gives me a lot of inspiration that we are going to produce results which His Excellency the President tasked us to produce before 2026. That is moving Uganda from where it is now to the middle income status. And then when I see the bulking facility, all those are drivers of transformation. All those are going to stimulate production. And when you return to our 7 pillars of parish development model, all those you are going to respond to the complete value chain of production.
All right. Now, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, has declined to commission Katayihuka Health Center 3 in Katayihuka Sub-County, Kakumiro District. Now, citing shoddy works, Nabanja refused to commission the facility, ordering the contractor to choose between rectifying the defects or facing arrest. The facility, worth 500 million Uganda shillings, was funded by a loan or from the World Bank, constructed by Nile Establishment Uganda Limited.
When the Prime Minister visited the facility, she discovered that the health center had many defects. These included cracks in the ceiling, poorly done floor, with site not well leveled, leading to water logging.
So the work. I am not commissioning this facility. And they should see how to work on this place here. Water is there so that water does not clog here. The contractor is called what? The name of the contractor. Nairo contractors. Nairo contractors have done shoulder work here. They should come back here and rectify those defects before we commission this facility.
Annette Asimwe, the female district councillor for Katayihuka and other residents, expressed concern on the shoddy works. They asked the contractor to rectify the defects for them to start utilizing the facility.
We are not happy with what the contractor did, and we are very thankful to the Prime Minister. Thank you very much for being a brave woman. You stand on your 2 legs and deny or refuse to commission such a hospital which is a shoulder work.
Bokugenda hasiringi terinungi floor terinungi ebisika byona bina cracks na nkubayire bokugenda amajuga abasaho nago genyine haiguru gaina cracks.
However, the Prime Minister commissioned 3 other health center 3s at Kigando, Nkoko and Kabubwa.
On behalf of government, the NRM government that works for the people,
she encouraged the public to make proper use of these facilities. It was all appreciation from the residents.
Tukusima government ya Uganda abo kututekerezaho yitabakyara abali kunu harubaju abo kuba tuli hara na marwara makoto.
The Prime Minister, together with the Minister for Transport, Fred Byamukama, also commissioned Katayihuka Seed Secondary School to improve education in the area.
Abana banyu bena kujja kukora hano kandi abakozi abakushoka kukora munu tukwenda abana baita bakuzaro hano.
Kigando Health Center 3 was constructed and equipped at a cost of over 820 million. Nkoko Health Center 3 at 397 million, while Kabubwa cost 613 million shillings.
It is common for groups of people coming together to create social media sites for purposes of socializing, relaxing, and having fun. However, a WhatsApp group started as a mere political platform for sharing ideas in Busoga has graduated into a savings and cooperative community organization, SACCO. Leaders in Busoga sub-region have described this as one of proper uses of social media that other groups should emulate. Take a look.
The year was 2018 when a WhatsApp social media group was created in Busoga. It was meant to bring all people in the sub-region on board to drive the area political and socio-economic agenda. 3 years later, the idea came to execution in December 2021. Hooray! Participants initiated the wheel to save for purposes of development.
People used to, like youths used to create WhatsApp groups or social media platforms with an aim, maybe to blackmail a certain political leader, to blackmail a certain political party. So now we came up with political platform to show others that social media can be used in a beautiful manner.
Political Platform for All, as known by its group name, has not less than 200 participants, with a capital of not less than 20 million. They say it is the beginning of a development and wealth creation journey for Busoga.
Our vision, we want to see a political platform turn, be a TV, be a radio station, and articulating, giving reliable and first-hand information to the community.
The circle was officially launched by Kaguru County Member of Parliament Milton Muuma alongside Dr. Frank Nawiso.
Ekimu ku bintu ebyayambanga omusogo oweera n'ayererera n'omwana we ne Busoga ne bakoba atingayiga byali Busoga Growers Cooperative Union. What went wrong?
There are questions that he posed and answered at the same time.
Nze ndowooza nti saving through circles is one of the strategies editeekwa okukozesebwa. Era omukutu guno bwe gubanga guli kujja kuta emphasis ku by'okununula abasoga mu poverty, I think it is important that we support it.
This now is what other leaders in Busoga describe as putting social media to good use.
Olwaleero tuli wano okulaunchinga saako ey'omukutu guno nti kiviire mukutu twaja kabiri munkulankulana, which is a good thing. Tubeebaza era ife abakulembeze kye tusinga okwenda.
It has evolved into a circle. It's the way to go. Let's look at things that add value. Let's look at things that bring money into our pockets.
This compliment comes at a time a section of Ugandans is yet to comprehend the recent amendment, passing and signing of the Computer Misuse Act. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, has appealed to Christians to stop depending on foreign donations but work hard and start income-generating activities. This was during a pilgrimage to Namgongo Catholic Shrine by Mbarara Ecclesiastical Province Annual.
5 months down the road since this year's commemoration in June, Christians from the Mbarara Ecclesiastical Province have returned to Namgongo Catholic Shrines for another pilgrimage. Mbarara Ecclesiastical Province consists of the Catholic Diocese of Mbarara, Kabale, Fort Portal, Hoima and Kasese. This year's liturgy was led by the Right Reverend Kalista Rubaramira, the Bishop of Kabale Diocese, who decried the ungodly acts arising from the earthly challenges like poverty.
We are invited to endure even trials and difficulties like the Uganda Martyrs we celebrate, who are our source of inspiration. Our Ugandan martyrs remained firm and unwavering in their faith, in their commitment to Christ in the midst of their suffering. We are aware that there is a high unemployment. This is not an excuse for the loose conduct, theft, immorality, and other kinds of evil behaviors that we witness around us. It's not an opportunity to to say, well, I don't have a job. God has given you the gift of wisdom. You have all the gifts that God has given to you. Are they put in good use to yield good fruit?
The pilgrimage that is always held in November is the first of its kind after 2 years of COVID-19 lockdown. It was celebrated under the theme, Be Steadfast in Commitment to Christ. The event attracted hundreds of dignitaries.
We would like also as government to appreciate the work done by the Catholic Church in Uganda, and also appreciate you for the cordial relationship and the partnership that we continue to enjoy as government together with the church, and we pledge that we shall continue working with the church for the betterment of the quality of life of Ugandans.
The Minister in charge of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, led the government team.
We must ensure that we involve in economic activity to produce wealth and to produce money in order to make the life of our religious leaders who in the past depended on foreign aid. Therefore, the government is saying like this: you religious leaders, starting from the catechist up to the bishop or archbishop, make sure that your Christians, your followers, are engaged in economic activity.
Kasaija notes that time has come for Ugandans, especially the clergy, to move away from the foreign envelopes.
Time has come when we must think very hard on how to sustain our institutions without necessarily referring to the outside world.
Barara Ecclesiastical Province is a Catholic community or an umbrella, bringing together members of the Catholic hailing from the western parts of the country. They are always coming here in every November to commemorate the Uganda Matters. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Namugongo.
Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited has warned of a looming power load shedding in Kampala Metropolitan following the collapse of electricity transmission towers along the Owen Falls Lugogo transmission line in Mukono area. The transmission company blames this mess on crooks who vandalized these towers.
Of 4 towers bearing electricity transmission lines along the 132 kilovolts Owen Falls Lugogo line is likely to lead to load shedding in Kampala Metropolitan.
It's not only one tower, we have lost 4 towers due to vandalism, and this is the Owen Falls Lugogo 132 kV transmission line. So Owen Falls Lugogo 1 and 2 line.
The 4 towers located in Kivuvu village in Mukono district were vandalized and some parts stolen, which weakened their resilience.
We anticipate that when these materials are vandalized, they are sold to the scrap dealers. So we've started stakeholder engagement with the scrap dealers to see that we fight this vice, working with the security forces to strengthen patrols, because some of these isolated areas we have that challenge of monitoring, because we can't be everywhere, and the teams are a bit small.
Owen Falls Lugogo power line supply Kampala metropolitan area, and the transmission body has warned of a likely load shedding during restoration process.
It's going to be affected, and we'd like to inform the public that we are most likely to have some load shedding in the areas of Kampala, because for now we are using Namave thermal plant, which has a capacity of 50 megawatts. But if the demand increases for power, we shall have an option apart from doing some load shedding to see that we balance the demand and the supply.
Power supply in Kampala Metropolitan is currently relying on the Namamve thermal power plant, which can only produce 50 kilovolts, lesser than the 100 kilovolts required per day in Kampala. Abdul Nasiri Luwama, UBC News.
Bara district leaders are demanding for 2.5 billion shillings to facilitate the construction of a new administration structure at the new district headquarters at Wizibwera. The chairperson, Bara district Didas Tabaro, wants the government to expedite the process of allocating 2.5 billion shillings as startup capital to enable it to construct an administration block at Wizibwera that is located along Mbara Ibanda Road. Mbara District Administration is currently operating from Kamukuzi in Mbara City North Division.
The chairperson, Mbarara District, Didas Tabaro, has said that the district's delay to shift is due to lack of money to facilitate the process.
Waiting for government to fund us, but unfortunately, we recently, last Thursday, held a budget conference at the district, and I happened to attend a national budget conference at Kororo, but none was mentioned about capital development or construction of new offices for those districts that were carved out of cities, from cities. So when I saw that we are not in this budget, and we are likely also not to be in the next budget for the financial year 23-24, then I said we should not wait anymore. Let us now shift, and at least we can serve under harsh conditions, but because we are people's servants, we have to persevere and make sure we extend services closer to the people.
He explained that the central government has not released its portion of the startup funds for each of the 10 districts that were affected by the creation of cities.
Whenever you need services, please always come, we shall attend to you. And sooner or later, we shall organize a fundraising, because if government fails, then we can also mobilize our own resources from well-wishers. This Kashari, you see, has very important well-wishers around Kampala, Jinja, Entebbe, and elsewhere in this world. So we shall invite them for a fundraising dinner to make sure that we construct our offices. We cannot remain in Mbarara forever.
Tabaro said in the interim, as the district waits for the fulfillment of the government to allocate them with 2 billion shillings as startup capital.
Persons living with disabilities from Abim district have to travel to Kampala for rehabilitation and orthopedic services. Share Opportunity, a local non-governmental organization, has now donated orthopedic equipment to the area's Health Center 3 in Orwamuge Town Council, Abim district. We have the details in this report.
Share an Opportunity, a non-government organization working in Karamoja, has donated orthopedic equipment to the area's Health Center 3 in Oramugi Town Council. Benoni Chome, the organization's national director, says persons living with disability are abandoned by caregivers due to costly of their needs.
You see so many children being abused physically, and no one is raising a hand. So we realize that in our struggle to ensure that there is inclusion in our programming, we had to intervene. We began by sensitizing the community, and I can assure you that at least the community this time they are more aware about the rights of the people living with disability, especially the children.
He furthermore pledged that organization is going to facilitate an orthopedics officer to come and train the medical team at the Health Center 3 on how to use the equipment.
SAO is not mandated to train technical people in the district, but we can facilitate. So we are going to facilitate the hospital, the referral hospital, to ensure that the training is cascaded to Health Center to ensure that the workers here have got the basic skills of providing the services to the disabled children or disabled children who come here to seek for the services.
The district councillors for PWDs also narrates the joy of having the first disability rehabilitation center, while noting that the people they represent have been finding it difficult to get medication.
I am very grateful as a leader of persons with disability in Abim for the first time of its kind for us to have a rehabilitation service center in Abim. Actually, let me say the whole of Karamoja, we don't have a rehabilitation center. This one I cannot fear to mention it. Abim is the first district to get a rehabilitation center under Oramuge Health Center.
To get the services in Kampala or Mbale or Soroti, it was very expensive because of the transport. And you know, for us here, children, people who are living with the disability, it is not easy for them to get the money to go up to Soroti, up to Kampala, or up to Mbale.
The Oramuge Health Center 3 in charge Nance Awuyo Costa disclosed that the amount of referral cases from Abim district will be reduced, thus strengthening the area's health center systems.
It feels so good, it feels so sweet to be the first health center, actually in Karamoja, not only in Abim, to receive these rehabilitation equipments. Those who get disabled when they are big, those ones who get broken and they need some physiotherapy, they will also benefit from that.
The resident district commissioner, Abim District, Shaluk James, acknowledged that the equipment arrived at the night time and said that the equipment is put to use.
The staff to manage this equipment, that it is in the structure of the district.
Freak ice maker, idle collector, walking grips, knee walkers, and other items are some of the equipments donated. Danawa Kennedy compiled this report for UBC News.
Border operators in Mbara district have received 5,434 reflector jackets donated by Mbara district lady councillor representing Rubaya sub-county Kashari South. The jackets are meant to supplement Uganda Road Safety Life-Saving Support Program in Uganda.
Border operators in Mbarara district have received 5,434 reflector jackets donated by Mbarara district lady councillor Loida Twinomujuni Muhimbura.
So happy that the program we are running today is successful. This is a government program about road safety. We are giving out these jackets, which are actually reflector jackets, which are very good for the road users, especially border riders. I only urge you, the road users, border riders, to be very careful when they are riding on the road. These are holidays, our children are going back home from schools, and the riders, border riders, are the people who are going to be transporting them.
Trinom Johnny Loida, commonly named Gamba Nokora, wished all border operators success in their work.
Sometimes they don't know the speed they are riding at, and if they see that they are putting on reflectors, please, they should reduce their speed. This is a government program about road safety. Thank you.
The Mbarara District Deputy Speaker Hilda Kansimi appreciated her counterpart for the gesture.
Ekiyakora ahabwizoberi kandi netusima n'abantu ababodaboda babasa kwikiriza no asakurete kintu bundu batakikundi konka nkiza kubayamba munonga kureba ngo tubabasa gumamba batomera burizoba kandi cyatwera munonga turiyo tuzombero bikuru kureba ngo abana bitu babinemera mu minji abojo bitu baboda abantu bitu babodaboda babinemera mu minji.
Africa has asked rich countries to do more in addressing the unavoidable climate impacts on the continent. The African delegations attending the UN Climate Conference COP27 in Egypt are also demanding reparations for loss and damage for climate disasters from rich polluting nations. UBC TV spoke to the Assistant Secretary General and Director of UNDP's Regional Bureau for Africa, that is Ahuna Eziakonwa, on the sidelines of COP27. We have the details.
Conference underway in Egypt, also known as COP27, has entered the second week. This COP27 is being described by many as an opportunity to finally make good on the promises by rich nations to finance climate actions. Speaking to UBC TV, the UNDP Regional Director for Africa, Ahuna Eziakonwa, said there is need for collective action to address the climate disasters on the continent.
I think one of the probably biggest takeaways from this COP is the adaptation agenda. And I think Africa has been consistent in really putting forward this agenda and the commitment that it is making, because at the end of the day, it's actually about life and livelihoods, lives and livelihoods. We see the floods today. I mean, in my own country, Nigeria, a third of a whole region is underwater. These are effects, we've never seen things like this happen in our lifetime. These are climate change effects, and we need to address that. We need to address that also with foresight. So we don't wait until it's happened and then we're catching up. Lives have already been lost, livelihoods have been lost. Floods will happen, droughts will happen. How do we adapt? How do we build systems that are shockproof? You know, that we can adapt to some of these changes in climate, because it's already with us, right? It's not something that we're saying it may come or it will come. It's here.
Another critical debate at the COP27 is the call for a swift transition to clean, renewable and sustainable energy on the continent. African countries are seeking support for a just transition.
There is not a lot of transition that African countries have to make, right? Because we're still at the very bottom of the pile there in terms of, emissions. Africa contributes less than 4% of total emissions, which means African countries have not yet industrialized and now have an opportunity to industrialize along greener pathways. So each country would have to assess their own situation and develop their own calendar in terms of what they need to transition from. Some countries today have only 6% coverage of electricity, for instance. There you can decide to go completely renewable.
Africa, which is hosting the summit and has a critical mass at the conference, is also demanding for a seat on the climate action table to influence the agenda, given the fact that Africa is the least contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, but faces the highest impact of climate change, such as floods, landslides, and drought. Another key feature at the COP27 was the youth voice calling for action and not just words.
I mean, this COP is about implementation. These young people are demonstrating on a daily basis that they have homegrown solutions that can be very much part of that implementation. But we don't trust them. Because we don't trust them, we're not putting enough resources that can help those initiatives go to scale. UNDP has decided to invest in them, to trust them, to profile them, to attract capital to their talent and initiatives, and to make that talent mobile. And I think this is crucial also for women, because among them are young women who are overcoming all the constraints that face them every day.
COP27 is building on outcomes of COP26 to deliver on issues critical to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, building resilience and adaptation to inevitable impacts of climate change, and to delivering on commitments to finance climate action in developing countries.
Well, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we'll return after these messages.
So, I'm here to announce that
the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial *165*77# or use the Momo app to register.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800-100-066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
That's right. The Voice is coming to a city near you. From the 21st of October to the 10th of November, you get a chance to showcase your talent. Prepare a 1-minute MP4 video of yourself singing and upload it to thevoice.africa to register. Make sure you have a valid Airtel number, and if you're shortlisted, you will be contacted to come in for the live auditions.
Well, don't just stand there, let's go!
Music your passion, Africa your stage. The Voice Africa, connected by Airtel. Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude, it's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold on much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe?
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You say I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just say to register. Yes. Become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
No mixing your business money with your Kameza money. No, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that break. And now on to some more news. Residents and the business community in Kabale municipality are not happy about the increased insecurity and crime rates in the urban area due to lack of street lights. The street lights along the Mbara-Kabale-Chisoro highway through the Kabale municipality were supplied by the Chiboko Group of Company and installed by Reynolds Construction Company RCC in February 2016, but they are now non-functional.
Kabale municipality residents are up in arms with persons that were asked to install street lights that are non-functional. According to some of the residents, darkness in the municipality streets increases criminality, though the municipal council authorities have been silent about such a blackout.
So baba barakibasa bitu batarachibasa
baronde kindi kibaraje kibaratukolere konke bitara bigire bigaruke.
Some border riders in Kabale municipality said that it's becoming very difficult for them to recognize clients, especially at night, and criminals have taken advantage of the darkness to rob them.
So au nayabora mu manyara koze so mugisha go kujati wa mureba atembe pichi yicara gukora kikukora utara mu mano kumana yara mu manya. So najyabiriho abantu rijo umuntu urora mureba umusabaza urora areba na uri kureke nyuma buryo mwe wonora jashi uramureba so kitumya ocayangwa kuvuga umuntu ora manya na utara mu manya banda barubaju bamurebe.
The Kigezi Regional Police spokesperson Elimate also raised the concern that the police is also concerned about the darkness within the town.
Having no lights along some of our streets here affects us as far as security is concerned. One, we always want lit streets and lit areas to prevent any insecurity. But also secondly, on like our CCTVs, once there is no lights, they don't operate. So we are totally affected because once you have dark spots, the criminals use those areas to do harm to our innocent citizens.
The Kabale Municipality Deputy Town Clerk Eric Sande said that UNRWA authorities are responsible for the street lights.
To make these lights light again, it is a responsibility of UNRWA. Because after constructing this road, they put security lights, and the responsibility was given to UNRWA because the road belongs to UNRWA. And lights were there, but late after, lights went off. And the reason why lights went off, they replaced solar by umeme. And you know, umeme, you have to pay bills and the rest. So I'm not certain to know what happened because eventually lights went off.
UNRWA Kabale Station Manager Felix Tumukunde said that they will replace solar-powered street lights with umeme electricity because the solar panels failed to work.
The street lights have at least not been functional for at least 4 or 5 months now. And when you're moving around town in Kabale, when you move past 8 or 7, then there is really a lot of darkness. And you know, with darkness, the criminals must use that advantage. And that is really absurd. Last Wednesday, I was moving from town to home. I stay in Bugonji. I met 3 people. They were all armed with pangas, and it was unfortunate.
Unfortunate indeed. Now, church ministers have been urged to rally their flocks in sectors of environmental conservation and development for better livelihoods. This was during the launch of The Rebellious House in Kampala, a book by a US-based religious leader, Phoebe Nyiraneza. The head of Cultural Awareness and Assistance League observes that many pastors deviating from their calling are now vested into making money.
Church ministers have an obligation to fight climate change and to rally their followers to embrace development programs.
See a lot of dirty places in this place, a lot of dirty places, and you know, you can't teach salvation of the heart and you don't take care of the environment. Don't you think that something is wrong with that? That you teach people to be saved and way to go to heaven, but where they live, they don't have good housing, they don't have jobs. It's a mess everywhere, and you wait on the government to do all that.
Speaking at the launch of the book, The Rebellious House, the author, Reverend Phoebe Nyiraneza, intimated that a number of churches are increasingly becoming manipulative, focusing on harvesting money from followers. Reverend Phoebe Nyiraneza, who is the head of Christian Awareness and Assistance League, says churches are deviating from their mission. She says there is an urgent need to return to the true gospel.
So I want to say to those people who say, I'm called by God, that's a good thing to be called by God. But then take a time to sit down and study. Not just the Word of God, but study church history, study have leadership skills, study, pastoral care, because you're dealing with people. How are you going to provide pastoral care to support people in grief, in difficult times, when you did not read it anywhere?
In the book, The Rebellious House, Nyiraneza explains the characteristics of a church that has gone wayward in disobedience of God and what the house of the Lord should look like.
When I talk about how they look like, the first thing I say is that they have no love of God in them. And they are blind and do not comprehend, and their ears are closed.
The writer deeply reflects her gift and devotion to the teachings of Christ. Ali Asaba and Joseph Miingo, UBC News.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Electricity Disputes Tribunal is a specialized quasi-judicial body established under Section 93 of the Electricity Act to handle all civil cause disputes relating, but not limited to, regulatory disputes, billing and licensing, tariffs, power generation, transmission and distribution issues, compensation resulting from activities in the electricity sector including civil wrongs and breaches of statutory and contractual duties and consumer-related complaints. The Electricity Disputes Tribunal is a special court and the first instance court that deals with electricity matters in the country. For more information, please contact the Electricity Disputes Tribunal at Amber House, Kampala Road, opposite Post Office, or call us on 041 23 2987.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Welcome back. And now into the business scene. Mabas City Foundation in Kasenyi Banda, a Kampala suburb, has graduated over 70 girls and women living in slums in different disciplines to sustain and improve their welfare. The director and founder, Mabas City Foundation, Chibidige James Kasule, says they are now focusing on mindset change for girls and women living in slums, that they can become better persons. We have more details in this report.
The director, Mabas City Foundation, James Chibirige Kasule, says empowering girls and women living in slums is aimed at changing their mindset. He said they need to be supported because of the big numbers in need of training. This was at the graduation ceremony held at Mabas City Foundation in Kasenyi Banda, a Kampala suburb.
So our role is to see that we change their minds. First of all, to accept that you can become a better person even if you've not gone to campus, to university. Even if you stopped in P4, you can still become a responsible person in your area. So that's what we've basically been doing. Looking at the area where we are operating, it's a slum. It's a slum. So we are changing their minds to appreciate that even from a slum, you can go and become a responsible citizen. You can go and change your country. You can go and speak your mind. That's what we've been doing.
The Member of Parliament, Buyukwe South Constituency, Dr. Rulume Baiga, urged the graduates to focus on working from their country and not to consider going abroad for work because of its challenges.
Need to be careful about that. These young people would know that it is possible to make money in Uganda as long as they do their trade very well. It is possible to make money anywhere. You can even market in the neighboring countries. There is a lot of market here potentially to ensure that our people make money out of their skills.
Handing over the certificates, the Mayor Nakawa Division, Paul Mugambe, asked graduates to look out for the new innovations that can attract people into their businesses.
Let us train these ladies to do hair cutting, because as men we really enjoy when it is the lady that is cutting your hair. So I believe when we equip them with these skills, they'll be able to get jobs very fast.
Kajoba Jamada of Mabas says there are so many young girls in need of support, hence calling upon politicians not only to focus on the electorate during the elections time.
Not to see the people in slum areas as only voters. We need also to plan for these people. It's not their will to stay in such communities. We want to have people who stay in such communities who can access health care. We want to see the people in such communities who can at least start some businesses.
The graduates are optimistic that the skills acquired will take them far.
I can make my own fashion, my own dresses. Me, I no longer buy dresses. This is present, and I know I can be a super designer.
Not easy. It was really not easy. I grew up in a slums like these other ladies, young ladies like me, but really it was a help from God.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Youth Livelihood Programs is geared at empowering many young people out of poverty. Kajansi youths, who are sponsored by Rotary Club International, are progressing with the dairy farming projects. Take a look.
For the last 8 years, government has promoted youth livelihood programs as an intervention aimed at boosting youth incomes. Cabinet and Parliament approved above 265 billion shillings for the program in first 5 years. However, this has been insufficient, calling on the private sector to intervene. Rotary Club Uganda, a service organization, is among those that are spearheading skilling of the youth in the fight against unemployment. Focus has always been on development of marketable livelihood skills that create opportunities for self-employment among the poor. Investment opportunities are in agro-processing, leatherworks, motor mechanics, clay molding, among others.
We could have kept these cows and we make money elsewhere, but we gave them to society through the church.
The Rotary Club of Kajansi has empowered the youths with dairy farming skills. The project that started with keeping cattle has since expanded into feeds production, biogas production from the generated manure, among others.
Cows were going to help us in establishing different business units which would occupy these young people. For example, these cows must be fed, and the feeds are supplied by a business unit of these young people. Another group is involved in adding value to the milk that comes from these cows. Another business unit run by the young people is where they make organic manure out of the cow dung. And this cow dung produces the biogas, which biogas is used by yet another business unit that roasts peanuts and sells it.
So far, more than 600 youths have been trained this year, and the number is expected to grow.
About train the youth, interacted them about enterprise development. How do you start a business? How do you choose the right business idea? So we have emphasized things like your business idea should be solving a solution in society. We have emphasized things like you should be passionate about this business idea. And we have told them other things on how do you run a business. We have also told them about the 4-way test. The 4-way test, these are 4 things in Rotary that we Rotarians go by on the daily life. One of them, and the most important, is trust. So we have emphasized trust in everything that they do.
We decided to come up is a spirit of sensitizing these stranded youth into becoming job creators and being job seekers. And how do you become a job creator when you are trained to be a job seeker?
St. Mark Church of Uganda, Sechiwunga, provided land where the Center of Excellence is located, while Vijana Power under the Rotary Club of Uganda has offered the funding. Rotary is well known for its humanitarian activities across the country, building international relations and improving lives for a better world.
Did you know
know that a cashless, secure, and convenient lifestyle is possible with Airtel Money Pay? Pay for your goods and services in the following simple steps. Dial *185 *9 hash. Enter the merchant ID. Enter the amount. Enter payment reference, for example, school items. Please enter PIN to confirm. You will receive a confirmation message for a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial *165 *77 hash or use the Momo app to register.
Welcome back. And now into the sports scene. The 24th MTN Kampala International Marathon has officially started with the wheelchair and tricycle category. This category attracted 20 participants and started and completed at Lugogo Bypass. We have more details.
Annually, over the past 24 years, Ugandans brace for what's arguably the most pronounced social gathering in the country, the MTN Kampala International Marathon, whose proceeds go towards corporate social responsibility in areas like health and education. And now, after 2 years in limbo, it's upon us again and has witnessed its first bit of action with the wheelchair category won by Richard Ochira among the men, while Pauline Achaya edged all other women.
I'm feeling so grateful because I've been doing number second until now. I happens to take the position of number one.
You've tried how many times?
From 2014 up to now. 2014, I started very well, but my wheelchair crashed on the way. But I didn't give up. I finished. Then 2015, I came. I was number second. 2016, second, up to now. And today I've taken the throne now to me.
Kevin Mubiru and Brian Mugabe finished second and third among the men, as did Lona Lamunu and Florence Achen in the women's category.
In Kampala, there are many runs that happen every year. We are not the only ones, who hold a marathon. But what sets us apart as MTN Marathon is that while there's the fun side of it, there's a cause of generating money for babies, but we also actually are promoting through MTN Marathon people like the ones we saw today, who do not get much chance to showcase their abilities. They have been working hard. If you see how hard they work for the race, you really know that they've been practicing all year. So this acts as one of those platforms by which they can be also identified.
Respective wheelchair category winners will bag 3 million shillings. Second place earns 1.6 million shillings, while third place gets 1 million shillings, and those from the tricycle will just be given a token of appreciation. What follows now is the main marathon event next Sunday, where more than 30,000 participants are expected. John Barnes, Sentinel, UBC Tonight.
UBC News Tonight has come to an end, but we do encourage you to join us for a second edition with more stories. That is at 10 o'clock. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto. See you at 10.
UBC, my name is Tessa Mili with your weather update. We are still having thunder showers dominating most parts of our country, and seeing the satellite picture of today, we are having a rainbow diffused over Africa, more especially in the central, including our country, Uganda. And not forgetting the moist winds are blowing from Congo Airmass towards our country, and the moist winds are blowing from Indian Ocean towards our country, and the local effects bring us the rain that we're having lately. Tomorrow morning, though, we expect to wake up with isolated thunder showers, most parts of the central part of our country, and the eastern part with thunder showers still, apart from Swat, we are seeing sunny intervals, and the western stretch with thunder showers, apart from Mbarara and Kabale with sunny intervals, and the northern part of our country with domination of sunny intervals, apart from Gulu and Lila, where we are seeing thunder showers. Afternoon hour, though, we are seeing a pickup of thunder showers dominating most parts of the central at maximum 25 degrees Celsius across the capital city Kampala, and 27 across Nakasongola, Masaka with 25 still. And seeing the eastern part of our country, where continuation of thunder showers will dominate at a maximum 28 degrees Celsius across Salty, and the rest of the places with 27 degrees Celsius. The western stretch with thunder showers at maximum 28 degrees Celsius across Kasese, at the lows of 24 degrees Celsius across Kabale Highlands. The northern part of our country, the maximum 29 degrees Celsius across that part of Chitgum and Moroto, with large thunder showers, and 28 across Lila. Is moving out of our country to one of the few cities across the globe we have for you. Nairobi in the neighborhood is forecasting light thunder showers at maximum 24 degrees Celsius. Dubai with sunny conditions, and Cairo at maximum 27 degrees Celsius. London with cloudy conditions at maximum 15 degrees Celsius. Thanks for tuning on UBC. My name is Kutesa Mili. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.